They feared her because she had a gift. A power that has been passed on to you children. She had the gift of magic.
Hey, Cassettes, and welcome back to the Black Case Diaries.
Woohoo! Hello.
What's up?
Oh.
We're three old friends learning everything we can about movies and TV and hopefully teaching you in the process. I'm Marcy.
I'm Robin.
I'm Adam.
Hey!
What's up? It's almost fall, witches.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
And that means we're gearing up for spooky season here at the BCD.
Spooky.
It's Adam's favorite time, honestly.
Adam's favorite time.
Ooh.
We have a jingle and everything.
Yeah.
No comment.
This week, we decided to cover a film that has become a 90s autumn staple over the last 2 decades. Based on the novel by Alice Hoffman, Practical Magic is an endearing story about love and sisterhood, with a dash of homicide and a pinch of demonic possession.
Wow.
Woo!
Yeah, you
That's
know.
a heck of an elevator pitch.
The normal things in it. Right? With striking 90s fashion and 2 irresistible leading ladies, it's everything you could possibly want from a film about small-town witchcraft. So, gather some ingredients and light some candles. It's time to cast some spells with the Owens Sisters in Practical Magic.
Ooh.
All right.
All right. So we just watched this movie.
Sure
We
did.
Adam had never seen it before.
First time.
Yeah.
What did you think, Adam?
Yeah.
I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't know what to expect from it at all. But, with Sandra Bullock in it and all these, I maybe had a few thoughts, but not really, because I hadn't really heard of it before.
Yeah.
But it turned out that it was really good, actually. It was it wasn't like a super hard-hitting movie, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it defies expectations.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things, and it doesn't really commit to one of them,
Mm-hmm.
No.
which I think is awesome.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, some critics apparently disagreed, but I think that that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you start watching it and you're like, oh, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a romance
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
with witchcraft. Got it.
Right.
Oh.
Wait.
Actually, maybe there's some other stuff going on in here.
And then
Yeah.
oh, wait, no, it is. I was right the first time.
It is. It just comes back to it later.
Yeah. It just takes it a while.
So it's got a little bit of something for everybody.
If you're like me and haven't seen this movie before, here is a summary for you. After the tragic loss of their parents, Sally and Jillian Owens move in with their aunts. The aunts teach the girls about the family's connections to witchcraft, especially among the women. One night, the young girls witness the disastrous effects of love and desperation, and Sally casts a spell that she's sure will prevent her from falling in love. Years later, Sally gets a call in the middle of the night from Jillian, who is trapped in an abusive relationship with a violent man named Jimmy Angelov. When Sally comes to the rescue, things go horribly awry, and Jillian's boyfriend dies unexpectedly. The women head home with the corpse and attempt to raise Jimmy from the dead, accidentally introducing an evil spirit into their lives that threatens to destroy their family. When a detective arrives and starts asking questions about Jimmy Angelov, the once peaceful lives of the Owens family and Sally's love life become even more complicated.
Oh, yeah.
That classic tale also of never bring somebody back to life.
Dude,
it's always
yes.
a bad idea.
It's always a bad idea. You're watching, you're like, nah, don't do it. Don't do it. No.
So this film is actually based on the book of the same name by Alice Hoffman.
Yay.
The book is now a 4-part series, with the book Practical Magic falling into 3rd in the series, even though it was written first, due to the timeline.
That's really interesting.
Weird,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she did 2 prequels, so
Mm.
it's technically the 3rd, and then there's one that comes after. So
That's kind of cool.
yeah.
Nice.
After being asked for years to write a sequel, she returned the Owens Sisters and wrote the prequels and sequel in 2017 to 2021. Practical Magic was her first novel adapted to film. Later, she would also have Aquamarine and the River King, also adapted.
Hey, I remember when
Alright.
Aquamarine came out.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty big. The book and movie do have differences. Although the film was clearly really inspired by the book, it seems that the feel of the characters and story is different. While fans commonly prefer books to their movie adaptations, practical magic seems to be an exception to this rule. Although the book is popular, the movie has a certain cult classic magic to it.
Yeah. I think I know about the movie more, or I hear about the
Yeah.
movie more than the book, but the movie is very popular
Mhm.
now.
Yes.
Yes.
Here's a list of some of the major differences. The first one was that the movie was set in a small town, while the book takes place in the suburbs.
Great change.
Yeah.
Fantastic change. I think that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It lends itself to that everyone knows everyone kind of
Mhm.
feel, right?
Yeah.
All of the parents kind of know each other. All
Yep.
the kids go to the same school.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That same thing. Whereas in a neighborhood, it's somewhat like
Yeah.
that, but not really.
Depending on
anymore.
what kind of neighborhood you live in.
Right.
For this story specifically, that charm of everybody knowing the Owens family.
Mhm.
In a suburb, most people drive more than they walk
Yeah.
or bike.
Mhm.
And in that sense, it's like, the house, you're more separated from your neighbors.
Yeah.
You don't have the same amount of community.
That's what I was thinking. It lends itself more to an otherness. Like
Yeah.
the Owens are
Right.
different. They're set apart from everybody
Right.
else.
Yeah.
The second is that the book discusses more about what the aunts, the two women that take in Jillian and Sally, do for the women in the town.
Yeah, we don't really see that very much in the movie.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
We just know that everyone's a big old hypocrite.
Yep.
Because everybody in this town is kind of like, oh, God, the witches. But then the moment they want
Yeah.
them for something, they
Yep.
show up at their door.
Yep.
Yeah, in the movie, we really only see them help one person.
Yeah.
And
Right.
the rest,
But it's yeah.
we don't know.
They at least imply that it's kind of what they do all the time, though.
Yeah.
Because the person who comes in is like, if I had any other choice, I wouldn't be here, implying that everybody kind of knows what they do,
Mhm.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And
that's
not
true.
that they want to do it, but they know that
Yeah.
they'll get
Yeah.
it done, kind of
Mhm.
thing.
And they just do it so nonchalantly.
Yeah.
They're like,
Right.
open the book,
Right?
There
Like
we
they're
go.
sick and tired of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The third one is that Sally and Jillian are much more skeptical of magic in the book. They question if it truly works.
They must do it much less
Right.
in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how you could not think it's real. I mean, they do it a lot
Yeah.
in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the stirring of the coffee
Yeah.
with no hands.
Yeah.
I mean, that's clearly
Mm-hmm.
that's all you need to show that it works.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't need the spells,
Yeah.
but
The small things like the candle, like lighting the candle when
Yeah.
you're blowing on it and
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah. The fourth is that Sally lives in a different house than the aunts after her husband dies. And Sally's girls are also older in the book and not as sweet.
oh, okay.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting. I think that it actually does make a little more narrative sense that she not
Mhm.
live with the aunts. I mean, I
Yeah.
see that, like, I see why
Mm-hmm.
she does in the movie, and I think it makes a lot of sense for the girls to be young in the movie too, for just a lot of visual reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, I mean, this is all speculative because there's no real answer to this, but maybe she couldn't afford the house on her own
Mm-hmm.
doing just
maybe.
witchcraft?
Yeah.
I mean, she was going to start her, like, lotions and soaps business, right?
Yeah.
The fifth is that Sally and Jillian's relationship is more complicated and strained in the book.
Yeah. I think the benefit of a book is that they have more time to explain stuff to you.
Yes.
And like
Yep.
there's more time for things to be bad and then come back
Mhm.
around. In a
Right.
movie, you have an accelerated timeline, and so
Yes.
I think if their relationship was bad in the movie, it would be so much harder to repair it in time for the climax at the end.
Yes. Yeah. They kind of need them to just be like sisters
Yeah.
that have this special bond.
Yeah.
The sixth is that Jimmy's storyline is a much smaller part in the book, as there are other tragedies that also appear.
I think that's really fascinating.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
So it could be more like a series of
Mhm.
events than
A
like
series of unfortunate events?
Yes, they're quite unfortunate. But, theoretically, it could have been a show then,
Yeah.
in a way.
Yes.
If they have all these things happening. But-
Absolutely.
hmm.
And the last one is that finally there's no love curse on the Owens women in the book. their husbands die, but not due to a curse.
Interesting.
Wow, that's an
Yeah.
odd change.
Yeah, because they add this curse in the movie where, they fall in love and then like they hear the death beetle ticking,
Yes.
so they know that their husband's gonna
Yes.
die. Which
There-
I mean, how horrible.
There is still a
Right,
death
God.
beetle, but it's not
Ah.
linked to a curse.
Okay, so they heard the death beetle, so they knew
Yeah.
that they were gonna die.
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. When asked by Emily Barak at Hey Alma in 2021, Hoffman said of the movie, "I love the movie. It's different from the book. The movie always has to be different than a book because you're in such a different medium. But I feel so lucky that all of those truly great actresses are in one movie. The fact it's about women and women's relationships, at its core, it's about a form of sisterhood. I think that has made it more popular over the years. So it's kind of a cult movie. I feel really lucky to have been involved with it." That's sweet.
Yeah, it is a nice movie. That is generally the whole moral of the movie.
Yeah.
Acceptance and also just like women supporting women.
Right. At the end of the day, it's not, it's almost led like this detective guy is going to be the hero, but it's like,
Mhm.
not really.
Not really. Yeah.
He's kind of involved, but he's still like kind of
Yeah.
taken aback that magic. Like he just saw a
Yeah.
ghost and he's still like, I don't know what to think.
Right.
So
Yeah.
he's a little preoccupied
Yeah.
while these
Yeah.
women,
While they're like, we'll figure it out.
and not just the main characters, this whole group of women.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What was
Who
it,
have
like 12 or something?
Yeah, they've suspected all along that
Yeah,
they've
yeah.
been witches.
I
Yeah.
I love the one who works at the shop
yes.
with her, and she's like, she's finally come out
yeah.
as a witch.
Yeah.
Hoffman also revealed that the producer, Denise Denovi, has the rights to The Rules of Magic and Magic Lessons, which are the two prequel books.
So,
So,
it
there's
could
a
happen.
possibility.
It could happen. They could have more.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. And it'd be a good time to make the one that's a sequel too, because all the actresses are
Yes.
25 years older now.
There you
That's
go.
true.
Yeah.
Perfect. Quick, do it. Quick.
Hurry.
Call him up. Activate the phone.
All right, so let's talk about the making of the movie.
Hey, hey, hey.
So-
Everyone's favorite part.
Heck yeah.
Robin Swicord was the first to adapt the story for the screen before Akiva Goldsman and Adam Brooks did the rewrites. Swicord wrote the screenplay for several other films, including Matilda and Little Women in 1994.
Hey.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Akiva Goldsman and Adam Brooks are also accomplished writers, with Goldsman specializing in book-to-film adaptations. He's written
Ooh, nice.
quite a few,
Yeah.
from my understanding. The script's first home was at Turner Pictures, but when it went to Warner Brothers, the film was greenlit right away. So,
Very nice.
this is one of those that did not have a production hell like a lot of different movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Very nice.
Yeah.
It wasn't cursed.
It wasn't at that point.
At least not
Yeah.
right away.
Not yet. Their first choice for the character Sally was Sandra Bullock, who read the script and enthusiastically agreed to do the film. She joined Denise Denovi as co-producer, and the two of them enjoyed working together. Denovi has produced classics like Heathers and Nightmare Before Christmas, and she's still producing today.
Very
Nice.
nice. Good choices.
Heck
Yeah.
Also great choice on Sandra Bullock there. I
Oh,
feel like-
perfect.
Absolutely.
Perfect choice, yes.
Glad to hear she was enthusiastic about it because,
Yeah.
I obviously everyone was great, but like, a big name like that.
Yeah. Sandra Bullock was also the one to suggest that Nicole Kidman play Jillian, the other female lead and sister to Sally Owens. Everyone loved the idea, but Kidman was booked to film another movie. They were able to wait until production wrapped on her other project, so she was able to be in the movie after all.
Mhm.
Bullock and Kidman had only met once briefly, but their chemistry was undeniable on screen.
You'd
Yeah.
almost think that they were like already great friends or
Yeah.
sisters even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's really good.
You can just really feel it in the movie. It just feels like they love each other.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like they just really do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they talks it partially due to the writing, but like their acting, they feel so naturally
Yeah.
speaking to each other, right? It doesn't sound scripted.
Mm-hmm.
It's very natural and it's very real,
Yeah.
as if they were
Yeah.
again like
Yeah.
great friends already.
Sandra talked a bit about how in a lot of movies, you always want the chemistry between the man and the woman to be really good. And she's like,
Yeah.
I'd never had before really great chemistry with another female character on.
Yeah.
And she was like, it was crazy because it was just an immediate chemistry that just worked.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yes.
It's you want chemistry with all of the other
Yes.
characters that your character is friendly with.
Yes.
You know, it's interesting because people do focus really heavily on the chemistry between love interests,
Yeah.
but in reality, it's like best friends need to have good chemistry.
Mhm.
Siblings, if they get along, you know. and-
Podcasters.
yeah, podcasters.
Also, Nicole Kidman, the movie that she was doing was a Stanley Kubrick one, so she was very used to doing many takes.
God,
Wow.
she was probably so relieved. She's like, oh, finally, acting can be fun again.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
When it came time to choose a director, Bullock and Denovi decided on Griffin Dunne. They chose him because of his ability to blend fantasy and reality, and they knew he could bring a whimsical quality to the movie. Oh, this movie's very whimsical.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
As Dunne directed, Denovi was sure to protect him in the role by supporting him and inspiring him, and believing in him. Dunne never even saw her freak out. She was calm throughout the entire production, even when things went awry.
That's hard to do.
Denovi and Dunne had a way of balancing each other out for the final product. Denise would push Griffin to lean into the sentimental points of the story, and he would push her to lean into the darker aspects.
Very interesting. It feels like that's why the roller coaster happens in this movie. It's like, it's very sweet. Ooh, whimsical magic, and then really abusive, terrible relationship where they accidentally kill a guy.
Yeah.
And then, more magic sisterhood. Oh, spell to get on the phone tree. How cute. And then possession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh
She's
boy.
literally dying on the living room
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's just begging them to
Crazy.
just kill her. Yeah.
Yeah, just let him take me. I'm
Mhm.
like, that when that part was happening, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
what do
it
you
gets
Or-
Girl,
crazy.
come
In the
on.
beginning, when Sally comes to the aunts and she's like begging them to bring her husband back.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's really hard to
That
watch.
was-
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Yep.
like, I mean, she is very
Yeah.
like, it's
Yeah.
it's upsetting. You know, there
Yeah.
are some pretty dark parts of this movie.
Mhm.
When searching for a place to shoot, Dunn really wanted somewhere sunny. He did not want the movie to have a lot of dark and rainy scenes. Yeah, it's like, it's witchy and there's some dark stuff, but it's this happy little town where the sun always shines. Unfortunately, though, they were scouting at the height of El Nino,
Oh,
Ooh.
dearie me.
so
Not good weather.
not a good time. Yeah. Mary McLaglen, another producer, suggested Washington, which isn't exactly known for its sunny weather. Like Washington State.
State.
Like,
Yeah.
but it ended up being the perfect place. McLaglen convinced them to look at San Juan Island. Shortly after they decided on this location for the house, American Indian artifacts were found there. It turned out that it may be a burial ground. This was the third filming location in Griffin's career where he may have stumbled upon a sacred ground. He seemed to have a knack for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm.
whoops.
Yeah.
But also a little bit fitting.
Yeah.
Don't mess it up.
Yeah.
No.
You don't want to do
Nope.
anything. Mess that up. For lots of reasons.
Yes.
One, because it's disrespectful.
Yep.
They were permitted to build the house and have a garden, but only if the crew didn't break ground in this location. In order to accommodate this request, the house was built on a platform, and the garden was like a huge sandbox that was on top of the earth.
Wow, very
Yep.
nice.
They made it happen.
That's
I mean,
cool.
it's
Yeah.
cool, yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that at all. I mean,
no.
they dig multiple times in this movie.
Yeah.
Yes, there's lots of digging.
There's
in
Lots
this.
of digging. Must
stuff
have been a
with the
different
ground.
location.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that one spot when they're digging at night, that probably was filmed somewhere else,
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess. But yeah, the house looks amazing.
Mhm.
It looks
Mhm.
like a real house.
It
and
does.
I totally thought they just used a real house
Yeah.
in New England
Yep.
somewhere, right? Because it looks like they're
You're
in New
like,
England, even
you would
though they're
think it
not.
would be easy enough to find one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It feels like very Addams Family.
Yes, it really
Yeah.
does. That large Victorian
Victorian,
house.
yeah.
Mhm.
Partially due to this fact, much of the interior shots were done on sound stages at Warner Hollywood Studios, even though they had built an entire house.
Cool.
Yeah. The house was built with such meticulous detail that many people thought it was real and had been standing for 200 years. It was designed to be white and cheerful with a Victorian style. It was looked at as another character in the movie. Even though it looked similar to the Addams Family house, they wanted to avoid any Charles Addams associations, which I think they avoid that. I mean...
Yeah. It has the style on the outside, very Victorian. It's tall and kind of like, it almost looks like it narrows towards the top.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel unkept.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like there might be things hiding in the
Yeah.
walls.
Yeah.
It's cheerful, it's happy, it's still welcoming.
It's lived in, but welcoming.
Yeah.
And even though it's not, or it's considered a character, it doesn't have a spirit in the house.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, and like the Addams Family house, you know, the whole shtick is that it's dirty.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, spiders everywhere, ghost schools, whatever the heck.
It's a museum.
Yeah, where people come to see them. In addition, Dunn made a deal that they would break down the house the day after they were finished shooting. So by 5 o'clock the next day, it was already gone.
Crazy, man.
Damn.
It's a bummer.
Demolition Day.
Yeah, it's a bummer. They should have kept that for something.
Just like pick it up with a big crane or something.
Yeah, I mean, it was on a platform and he would just roll it away.
Yeah.
I know, right? I went. Yeah,
It's
that
that
Bring that thing
easy.
on the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do it.
Just stick it on a wagon. I'll carry it myself.
Yeah. Because the film deals with the supernatural, some special effects had to be used. The very first effect that was considered early on was how to approach the ghost version of Jimmy, played by Goran Visnjic. In the original script, Jimmy was a Texan and didn't have much dimension. After casting for about 2 weeks, Dunn was bored with the part, so when he met Goran, it all fell into place. Goran had taught himself English and was from Croatia, so the character was changed to specifically fit Goran.
Oh,
That's
interesting.
cool. Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah.
English is not easy.
Yeah. John Sheely was the visual effects supervisor for the film, working alongside his partner, Chris Sanger. They were brought in for pre-production because Griffin Dunn wanted to get ahead of the game. They were one of the first ones hired. Dunn wanted to seamlessly include supernatural elements. In order to accomplish this, he had his friend and production designer, Robin Standeffer, attend the special effects meetings to match the effects to the look of the movie. Standeffer and Dunn really liked the look of the daguerreotype photos. Daguerreotypes were images on silver copper plates. In order for a person to be photographed that way, the person had to be incredibly still for a long period of time. It was the first widely used form of photography.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like fun.
No.
With old cameras, you already had to sit still anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's why the first photo of a human, the daguerreotype, the first photo of the human it was a busy street. The photo was of a busy street.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But not a single person was caught on film because they were walking too fast.
Right,
But a man
right.
stopped to get his shoe shined. And so
Oh, that's-
you see one guy in the frame standing still.
Wow.
And that's the first photo of a person.
Wow, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
People would often use it to take pictures of their dead children to remember them.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
It's probably the only time you could take a picture of a
Very
kid
sad.
at that time.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Standeffer and Dunn liked how the photos made people's eyes look, and it was a great starting point for the discussion on how Jimmy would appear as a spirit. You can see the influence in his final look, when Jimmy's skin is a reflective silver color with piercing, reflective, and haunting eyes.
Yeah.
Yes, he's very spooky, but not like overwhelmingly evil
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that. He's just a terrible person,
Yeah.
so it kind of fits already.
Yeah.
But they didn't make
It's-
him look incredibly ghoulish or like.
No.
Mm-mm.
And
don't know.
almost because he has the snake jacket on,
Yeah.
the reflective eyes make him really look like a snake. You
Yeah.
know, like a,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
They make him look like a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the most fun and iconic scenes in the film is when Jillian and Sally wake in the middle of the night to the sound of the ants making midnight margaritas.
Ooh.
This is pretty funny.
Yes.
You woke me up for this?
Yeah,
Is how I'd react.
it's funny because they're doing it like it's a spell.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and they're
Mhm.
like saying the things that they need to throw in, you know, and then it's a cauldron, but then it's a
It's just a
It's
blender.
literally
blender.
just a blender.
yeah,
Mhm.
I love it.
Eye of newt, toe of frog, will of bat, tongue of dog.
Adder's fork and blindworm's sting.
Barbados lime is just the thing.
Cragged salt like a sailor's snubble.
Flip the switch and let the cauldron bubble.
How convenient!
We cannot discuss this movie without one of the most fun scenes in the movie, the margarita scene. According to the commentary, it was pretty much everyone's favorite scene. Many said it was the most fun to shoot, although Sandra Bullock said that she almost knocked into the cameramen several times. This kept almost happening because the cameramen had steady cams and were moving around almost as fast as the actors.
Wow.
Yeah, you can see there's a lot of really dynamic shots in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
They're going in and out of frame, and we've got lots of just them dancing, and we're
Yeah.
following them
Yeah.
along.
It's a really fun scene. I mean, that's the word, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I love how it's implied that this is definitely not the first time they've done this. It's like
No.
a tradition for them. And,
Yeah.
you know, because they hear it. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, midnight
midnight
margaritas.
margaritas,
We've done it
immediately.
before,
Yep.
and it's our favorite thing, and here we go.
In the audio commentary, Dunn recalls that Denovi was responsible for the idea for this scene. According to him, she had show business truisms, and one of them is that if you have that many women in a film, you need to have them sing and dance together. The example that she gave was from another film she produced, you know, a little film called Beetlejuice, where they sing and dance Deo.
Yeah, this is really true of '90s movies.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
women together in a movie, they sing.
Yep.
It happens in First Wives Club. It happens in Hocus Pocus. It happens in,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, pretty
You
much, you know, and it's
Because that's all women do.
it's entertaining. Women do like to sing and dance.
I'm just kidding. But
Like
yeah.
if you're hanging out, like serious, you know, it does happen.
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
It does.
Simultaneous singing does occur generally.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, it's fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, I mean, I personally don't really like singing, but I understand why people do. I mean,
Yeah.
karaoke is
Yeah.
a huge thing, so I totally get it. And it's something, especially if they're drinking margaritas at midnight, I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Denovi only recalled that she knew Sandra was a great dancer and they needed to show it off. Diane Wiest and Stockard Channing play the aunts. Wiest, who has been in things like Robots, Life in Pieces, and Edward Scissorhands, plays Aunt Jet.
I love Diane Weiss.
Yeah.
She's really fun.
She's so
She's
cool.
a great actress. She's very funny.
Stockard Channing, who famously played Rizzo in Grease, plays Aunt Frances.
Yay, Rizzo.
Yeah. It was decided that the pair would not have a whole lot of makeup on them. Griffin wanted their own beauty to come through.
Oh,
Yeah.
How
That was
sweet.
really
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. When Griffin was younger, he loved the song Lime in the Coconut when it came out. And so it meant a lot that he was able to use it specifically in this scene.
Yeah. It's very, very prominently used in this.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And this doesn't always happen in movies like this, but I like how in this one they had a lot of songs that were just
Yes.
Yeah. put
existing
in.
tracks that they put in, and it wasn't
Mhm.
all written for the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
it
just
was
fun.
nice.
It really gives it that 90s flair.
Yeah.
Yes.
It really, it dates the movie in a really fun way.
Yeah.
Yes. Normally, in a scene like this, you would play the music and have the actors get used to it. Then cut the music and have them dance and sing. That audio would then be combined with the music for a clean audio track. Griffin did not want this. He thought that they should be dancing and singing along as we hear the music. He thought it would fit more with the spirit of the song.
Interesting.
Yeah. In the film, there's also a romantic plot between Officer Gary Hallett, played by Aidan Quinn, and Sally. The chemistry between Aidan and Sandra was perfect. At one point, he said, "She bewitched me. She really bewitched me." Sandra and Denovi agreed during the commentary that Aiden is not only a handsome man with beautiful blue eyes, but that he brings integrity and honesty to his roles.
I can't believe they didn't mention anything about, like, changing the one eye to green.
Yeah, I looked. I tried, and they didn't talk about it in the commentary. They talked about how Aiden has beautiful blue eyes, but they didn't talk about changing one of them.
Yeah, one of the plots in this movie is that this character is supposed to have one blue and one green eye. And you're watching, and you're like, he just has blue eyes. That can't be the guy. Yep. But then in the one scene when they're like, it's him. He has
Close
one green.
up.
One green, one blue. It's
it kind of like changes. It glimmers in the light, and like one way it looks green, and one way it looks blue.
Well, they had to make it like, notice this.
Yes.
You need to notice this other eye right now. So we'll make it sparkle a little.
Yeah.
Sandra said in the scene where she has to lie to the officer, but can't because it's her one true love, she is doing a griffin. Apparently, the director has that kind of a cadence and chopped talking when discussing what his vision is for the scenes. It seems as though his mouth couldn't catch up with his thoughts, or vice versa.
Oh, man. That's hilarious.
Yeah. And I love it when she's there. And then after she stumbles upon all of her words trying to come up with a reason, at the end, the officer walks away and Jillian looks at her and is like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
And she just does this expressive, like, I don't know. It's so perfect.
He kidnapped you?
Well, no, he didn't really kidnap her. He sort of like just a little nap. No, there was a car, and she would, and
in what Alan Silvestri aptly called the Tupperware exercise party, Sally gathers a group of women to work together to get rid of Jimmy's spirit. The women in the scene had no trouble remembering the incantations because the scene took 3 days to shoot, and they repeated the lines the entire time.
I love that scene when they call all of the women.
Activating
the phone tree.
Telephone tree.
And they all come. It's just, it's so nice.
Well,
it's so nice.
They have to obey the phone tree.
Yeah.
Yep.
No matter what.
It's the law.
Yeah. Apparently the phone tree had to be explained to the director.
He
did not know what a phone tree was.
So let's explain what a phone tree is.
Yes, for those
some people
who
might
don't
not know. A phone tree is like, it's basically you have a line of callers, like the first person at the top of the tree, they call these next two people, and those two people call that next two people, and on and so forth, and what have you. So
right, that way everybody gets the information. This is before being able to send out like an email to everybody, right? So
mass emails here.
Yeah, like usually if you're gonna go on a big field trip or something, there's like a phone tree,
right?
To like so which parent calls which parent if something happens on the trip, or
in that way everyone only has to be in charge of two others. Like one person calls two, they each call two, they each call two, and it's just like.
And nobody gets forgotten, as long as everybody does their part.
As long as everybody does what they're supposed to do.
I'll tell you what, if I was ever on a phone tree, those two ain't getting called.
They're getting texts.
No, exactly.
No, see, I was about to say, or left a message, like you just hang up if they actually answer.
Yeah.
Oh man.
My God. But yeah, that's what I think it's funny that he didn't know what that was. But in the movie, Sally gets put on the phone tree because Jillian casts a spell.
Yes, which is amazing.
To put her on the phone tree because she's one of the parents, and only the most responsible parents, quote unquote, get to be on the phone tree, and she never gets chosen because everyone's like, you're a witch. And
it's a popularity contest.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it really is. The scene was very draining and emotional for everyone. Kidman wanted it to look realistic, slamming her head on the floorboards. The crew, therefore, created rubber boards so she would not hurt herself.
Goodness me.
Probably still kind of hurt.
Yeah, probably
just didn't do, like, damage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oof.
That's
the extra mile.
She went for it. The film's score was composed by Alan Silvestri, who is most known for working on films directed by Robert Zemeckis. These films include Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and more.
Yeah. That was a lot.
Yeah. Silvestri didn't want to be too literal with the music, so he instead gave a broader sense of the entire film. However, during the scene when Jimmy comes back as a ghost for the first time, the music is more playful, like a spider playing with a fly. The music sounds like a standoff with mystery and supernatural elements, but not grand and monstrous.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like before, he's not. The music does a lot of helping here. He doesn't
Yeah.
feel like overwhelmingly evil,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like demonic ghost monster here. I mean, yes, he visually looks the part
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
And we know from what the aunt said about bringing somebody back, it's definitely not good. And
Yeah.
he was already a terrible person. So it's
Mhm.
like, it's there, but it's not overwhelming. And I think
Mhm.
that's kind of cool because it doesn't feel like just a mindless monster demon that they have to get rid of. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
something more manipulative than that.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
music's just kind of creepy.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yep.
like the visuals are creepy and you just kind of get a sense of dread like
Mhm.
when
Mhm.
when they're drinking the margaritas and they start to
Yes.
say some like really ugly things to each other.
Yeah.
And they're
yeah.
like laughing hysterically and they're trying to figure out like they suddenly kind of realize during this interaction that there's something wrong with the rum. Like there's a reason why they're doing this. Like they're
Yeah.
you know. And it's this bottle. The bottle is the same bottle that Jimmy was drinking
Yeah.
Mhm.
before they killed him.
Yep.
Oops.
And
It's-
so they're you know,
yeah.
it's like he's edging his way into their
Mhm.
lives and it's just this
Yeah.
very creepy realization.
Yeah.
Like somebody left the bottle of rum on the porch and they just drank it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
That part I thought was like, what are you doing? Because,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
the ants just accepted
where did
it,
you
like,
get this bottle? And they're like, someone left it on the porch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? That doesn't mean
Yeah.
free drink.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, and it was just like it was just like an enchantment because the moment that they break the bottle, the ants are like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
What's
it
happening?
was an
Mhm.
immediate awakening.
Yeah, they're
like,
immediately sober. It's almost like the
sober.
enchantment was just the
Mhm.
bottle.
Yeah. It was very smartly not shown. Like, you see the ants holding the bottle, and the label
Yeah,
is on the
yeah.
opposite side where we can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they very dramatically turn it when
Yeah,
Jillian's ready to see what it is, because they're like, something's up, and
Yeah.
you see
Right.
it, and it's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, and they did a great job of showing it to us earlier in the movie, right? When they're in the
Yes.
car and he's drinking it while holding Jillian in the back.
yeah,
And then, Sally has to take it from him
Yeah.
because she's putting the drug in it, right? So we
Mhm.
notice it was like, this is the bottle he carries
Yes.
around with him. And then we're able to have
Put
it
it
be
together.
revealed to us later. So, yeah.
Silvestri used leitmotifs throughout the film. For example, the legend theme from the beginning of the movie comes back around when Jillian is telling Sally's daughters about the spell that Sally cast to prevent her from falling in love. It's similar to the beginning of the film because it is about an aunt passing on a family story.
Yes.
Pretty
very
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
Love that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. There was an original score composed for this movie by Michael Nyman, but it was abruptly replaced for the theatrical release. This change resulted in the release of 2 soundtracks, although only as a compilation album. A 50-track demo of Nyman's score, including the 2 tracks from the official album, has been circulating among fans as a bootleg.
interesting.
Yeah.
Ah.
It's weird how often this happens.
Yeah.
because music's like the last thing. It's one of the last things that they
Mhm.
do,
Right.
and it's so interesting. They have somebody score an entire
Do
film,
the whole thing.
and then they're
Yep.
like, "Man, we don't really like it." And they just
No.
have somebody else do it. Like,
right.
It's because we talked about Something Wicked This Way Comes last year.
Mhm.
Same
Yes.
thing. There was a whole
Whole thing where they were
Yeah.
like, nope, we don't like
So
it. It's too
strange.
dark or
Yeah.
something.
too creepy.
Too creepy.
I mean, I suppose, but like, I understand why they would just like, it doesn't feel like what we want it to feel like, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But why not stop them before they
I
get it
know.
all
Yeah.
Where were these notes
done? Right.
when I was still
Yeah.
writing the music?
All right. Now we're going to move on to how was this movie received.
Yay!
Yeah.
Poorly.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah, not great.
Spoiler alert.
oops. Practical Magic opened at number 1, making $13.1 million at the box office.
Nice.
Doesn't sound terrible, right?
Yeah.
However, that was not enough to make this film a success. The movie would only go on to gross $68.3 million worldwide, which was less than its $75 million budget.
Yeah.
So unfortunately,
Aw.
Yeah, it
Didn't do
sucks.
unfortunately, critics were harsh, and the movie currently has a 23% on Rotten Tomatoes,
Boo.
Ugh.
with most reviews citing its tonal shifts and not really knowing what it wants to be.
Dude,
Mhm.
And we disagree with that,
Yeah,
like you mentioned
I
earlier.
mean, I think the
Yep.
movie has some tonal shifts,
Yeah.
but I don't think that it's like necessarily a bad thing. And
No.
I think the movie knew what it wanted to be. It just wanted to be a lot of things.
Right.
Yep.
And it's weird how some critics don't like that tonal shift kind of thing.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things
Yep.
happen out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Like you're having a great week and then all of a sudden your air conditioning breaks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a tone. I'd call that a tonal shift. Maybe it's
Mhm.
not as bad as getting your sister out of an abusive relationship, but it's like
Yeah.
that's how these things
Yeah.
happen. So
Yep.
it kind of feels more real, like they're
Yeah.
dealing with it as it comes, and they
Yep.
have their ups and downs.
And even when the things are happy, there's still a cloud
Yeah,
Yeah.
over the movie, and you feel there is like something's coming.
yeah.
Yes.
You know what they did
Yeah.
isn't resolved, so
Yeah. So I
Yep.
feel like
mhm.
you are prepared for those things when they come up.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's not all bad. Fan reviews are much more positive and give the film a 73%. Fans agree that the acting and chemistry between the 4 leading witches are brilliant and memorable. Additionally, it holds a place for many as a movie to rewatch every fall season.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a really fun movie to watch
Mhm.
in autumn.
Yes.
Even though it does not take place exclusively in autumn,
No.
it's like, I mean, a large part of the movie I think takes place in the spring.
Yes.
You
Oh,
say
yeah.
March and
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
But,
Yeah.
you know, it gives you some of those comforting feelings that come with fall.
yes, yeah.
Despite some of the more serious moments of the movie, you still
Mhm.
get that feeling, and that's why
Yeah.
people associate it with the season.
Right. Especially at the end when it is Halloween at the end
Right.
Yeah.
and all the witches jump off the house.
Yep.
and-
yes.
Almost all of the women in this film, including Sally's daughters, were nominated for awards for acting.
Nice.
The-
Aw.
The only one to win, however, was Stockard Channing for Favorite Supporting Actress in a Comedy/Romance. That was a Blockbuster Entertainment Award, by the way.
Aw.
Stockard Channing's
Cool.
super cool.
Yes.
She is also in the critically acclaimed, widely beloved Mr. Willoughby's Christmas Tree.
Oh, yes.
Ah,
The
yes.
Muppet Christmas special that
Oh,
starred
yes.
Robert Downey Jr.
After the cult classic success of this film, a few attempts were made to turn it into a series. First, in 2004, there was a pilot called Sudbury, starring Kim Delaney, Jerry Ryan, and Kat Dennings, but unfortunately, it was not picked up.
Mm.
Ugh.
The second attempt was in 2010, when ABC Family, now Freeform, announced it would be producing a television reboot of the film. This series, too, never made it to air.
Hmm.
Yep.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Nobody picked him
Yeah.
up for some reason.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, maybe now that there's more books.
Yeah,
that
there will
is-
be more stuff that
that's
comes
very
out.
true.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
I
Like
did.
you said, it would be a good TV.
I did see. Yes,
Mhm.
I did see during the research though that people were like, there were talks about it with HBO.
Yeah.
It
yeah.
was kind of in the dark
Mm-hmm.
even before
A
that.
couple
though.
years ago. Yeah.
Right. We haven't heard anything
Mhm.
about it, but
Yeah.
who knows? I mean, like I
Who
said, if the
knows?
books become more popular, it could get
Yeah.
back in people's minds. People
Mhm.
remember this movie.
Yep.
So, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about some fun facts.
Oh, yes.
All right. So there was a curse put on this movie.
Oh,
Maybe
boy.
that's why it didn't do so well.
Could
Maybe.
be.
Dunn admitted that although he loved the setting of the story, he was not well versed in witchcraft. So he hired a witch consultant for the film. She would later demand extra money and a percentage of the film's profits, which Dunn said would not be possible. Dunn recalled that she told a producer, "I'm going to put a curse on you. I'm putting a curse in this movie, and I'm putting a curse on Griffin."
Yikes.
So,
Oh boy.
yeah. So maybe that's why the movie did not do so well.
Yeah.
Didn't make a
Could
lot of
be.
money, and the
Could
critics
be.
hated it.
Oh man.
Because of this, Dunn ended up having his own exorcism to cover his bases, even though he says he gives them no power.
Yeah.
Oh man, he had to be just to be sure.
Just to be sure.
Yeah, just to be sure.
You're giving them a little bit of power. If you're going to have somebody perform an exorcism on
Right.
you have to believe in it a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
And then also add that line to the film.
Yeah.
You know, it is a shame that the movie didn't perform well,
Mhm.
but it is, again, it's so fitting
Yeah.
that this movie would have a curse put on it
Yeah.
and all these things. I mean, it's just funny.
And,
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
funny how real life works
yeah,
sometimes.
maybe it's lifted now because so many people love
Hey,
it.
there you go. So that's how it got its cult classic status.
Maybe
Yeah.
it was a time sensitive curse.
Yes.
Ah,
it could
yes,
be.
yes.
Could
Only
be.
lasted so long.
Or maybe our generation is now it's true
Unaffected.
love. Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, there
we
you
have
go.
broken the
We've
curse.
broken the
There you
curse.
go.
After seeing the film, the famous singer and actress Barbra Streisand actually offered to buy the enchanting Victorian-style house.
Aw.
However, the house wasn't really a house. The builders created on what is called an architectural shell to serve as exterior set pieces, and the interior sets were built on sound stages, like we said earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Ah.
but Barbara she believed it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all did.
Mhm.
Honestly, 100% believed
Yeah.
it. I had
Yeah.
no idea until doing this episode.
Yeah.
So she must have been a fan.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
Babs liked it. That's
There you
good.
go.
So that means it's great.
Yeah, exactly.
But also kind of bummer because
Yeah.
it is a nice house.
Yeah.
And I'm like, to
No.
find out that it didn't really exist would be like, oh, really? I was prepared to
Yeah.
drop millions.
Yeah, I
on
know.
this.
I was going to give you a lot of money for that house. During the Midnight Margarita scene, the actors and some of the crew were drinking real alcoholic drinks. For authenticity's sake, of course.
Of course.
Well, I mean, you got to do it right.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to impersonate a drunk person.
Exactly.
So.
It's really
Yeah.
hard. You got to
Yeah.
put the
Just
lime
gotta
in the
do it.
coconut.
Yeah.
And then you shake it all up,
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
and eventually you feel better, right?
Yeah.
I think.
I think that's
At
What
some
do they
point-
say?
they cures belly aches. Come on, what? That's such a good scene, and it's so funny to find out that they're actually drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
because it
Yes.
just makes it all worth it, you know.
All right. Do we have any final thoughts about this amazing little movie?
Yes, I'd say it is well worth a watch, despite its critical panning.
Yeah.
Ignore them, please,
Yeah.
because it is a very fun movie. The
Oh,
chemistry between all the ladies is like addictive almost. Is the like I want to be part of it. You know what I mean? It looks like so
Yes.
much fun. It's such a nice little family,
yeah.
and they clearly love each other. They have such fun with the magic,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it's really cool to watch. It's just fun, right?
Yes.
There are those ups and downs, like we said. There are the serious moments, and I think the movie's better for it because, like I said, it's real. You can go through those serious moments, but still love your family,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
You help your family through serious situations. You might butt heads, but at the end of the day, you know, they're still them, and that's cool.
Yeah.
It's really nice to see that in such a weird little magical twist.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I really like that this movie focuses so much on sisterhood.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
And how important that relationship is, because so often you see a lot of things about women not supporting each other, and those parts of the movie do exist. The kids are throwing rocks at them, witch, you're a bitch,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And you have all the mothers that don't think that Sally's good enough
Mhm.
for the
Yeah.
phone tree and all of that kind of stuff. So you have that, in the beginning, But then when it came down to it at the end, and they were calling each other, and they were like, "Look, she's got to like get rid of her ex, and she needs our help," and everyone was like, "Oh, okay, like
It was very relatable. Like, we
they're
get
like,
that.
yeah, we'll help. You know, they were able to put all of that aside to help each other. It's a really nice, you know. And then, you know, the town seems to have accepted them at the end of the movie to the point where they can like be witches, and people are just cool with it.
Open,
People are just fine. They're just fine with it.
It reminds me a little bit of a more recent one, Frozen. Kind of had that, you know, it felt new to people who hadn't seen a movie like this, that kind of sisterhood where at the end of it, it was the love between sisters that broke the frozen heart, right?
Yeah.
But I still feel like this movie does it stronger than Frozen.
Yeah, it's not just between blood sister relatives. It's just between women in general.
Right.
Just the sisterhood of just, you know, having very similar life experiences. And...
Right. But seeing it in Practical Magic, it's like it exists in such a way where it's like second nature. Right? It's just the way things are, and they operate that way, and then they show how great it is to the rest of the women.
Yeah.
And then they're all friends now, right? They are accepted, and and now Sally be at the top of the phone tree all the time.
Well, it's, you know, probably super helpful. Like, oh, she can do magic? Well, she could probably help us out.
Yeah.
From time to time.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that's gonna be useful. Practical even.
Yeah.
But my sister Rachel really loves this movie. She showed it to me, I think, the first time. And so I watched it. I mean, it's a very sisterly movie. It's a great movie to watch with sisters, but also just friends, you know, because
I was gonna say Robin showed me this one.
The sisterhood. Yeah, the sisterhood is like, it doesn't necessarily mean blood relatives.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's this really lovely scene that really illustrates how much these sisters would do for each other, because Jillian gets in the car and literally drives all night and all day to get to her sister. Just hours just to see her after her husband had passed away.
Yeah.
And just showing that, you know, she was willing to do that and then like leave right after.
Yeah, she just spends the night and then just goes back.
Yeah. I mean, because that's a lot. That's a lot to do.
Right. And then Sally, at the drop of a hat, it's like, I got to go rescue her.
Yeah.
No
she
question
knew
about it.
exactly who it was. She was like, yeah.
You know, her husband had already died. He'd been dead for a while, and she was living with the aunts. And when Jillian went back, it was to tell her, like, you need to get your ass out of bed.
Exactly.
I know you're sad, but you have 2 kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and that's why she did it. You know?
Yep.
And you can still make this shop of yours happen.
Yeah.
And she does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she also was like, do you forgive mom? Like, I mean, that essentially mom, this is what you're doing now is what mom was doing to us. Like, if you continue this, you're going to die of a broken heart. And then, you know, the girls will be just like you and I.
My goodness.
It was really sweet, where it was like, you know what? Stop it.
Right. It's funny because the aunts are like them in the future. Then there's them, and then the daughters are them in the past, and it's just this weird generational thing.
Yes,
it's
awesome.
It's so cute. Yeah. They all have the matching hair too.
Yep.
Yes. Yep. Practical Magic is a true cult classic. It flopped at the box office, got torn down by critics, and has enjoyed a slow rise to mainstream popularity. This film is charming, fun, and in some ways unpredictable. Fans come in expecting a light-hearted rom-com with some magical elements, only to find a story that includes abuse, accidental killing, and dark magic. But no matter how bad the circumstances become, the characters can overwhelm the darkness with the help of the women around them. Despite its original reception, this film has delighted film fans for almost 25 years. And to us, that means it's practically magical.
Hilarious.
Oh,
Very
boy,
well
oh
done.
boy.
What a really
Very
funny
well
joke
done.
written by somebody that's not me.
Yeah.
Ha.
I'm just kidding. I wrote it.
Yes, absolutely, she did.
Yeah.
Very
It's
good.
perfect.
Yes, the movie is fantastic. Definitely
Yes.
go watch it.
Yes.
Buy
Yeah.
the DVD.
Yeah.
Find it.
That's
yeah, there
the
you
Go to,
go.
the,
Yes,
go
get
to
it.
the local library.
Yeah.
Nah. Buy it.
Physical copy.
I'm just kidding. But find it physically is the ultimate thing. Yeah.
It's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But I think with that, that's another case closed. All right.
On
We're there.
of it.
Yep, it's
Bam.
time.
Hop.
We're near the end of the season.
That's so funny how that works.
Yeah.
I can't
Oh,
wait to like listen to the clap of the beginning of next season.
Yeah, I know. Christmas. It's going to be a Christmas
Yeah.
episode.
Oh boy.
Oh man.
It just falls apart.
Like,
Yeah.
Fuck. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Bam. Before we go, we'd like to thank our patrons: Joel, John, Jacob, Jacqueline, JD, Anthony, Shelley, Linda, Bob, and Jaren and Brad.
Oh.
Oh, I almost ended it there. We
Don't
can't
You
forget
almost
Brad.
forgot about
Oh
Brad.
my gosh, we can't forget about Brad. But we hope you guys enjoyed the extended version of this episode on
Yay.
Patreon. If anybody wants to hear the extended one, all you gotta do is get on our Patreon.
Listen to us
Patreon.
talk about all
Yeah.
kinds of fun things.
Yeah.
For as little as $1, you
Yeah.
too can be a
Mhm.
patron.
Mm-hmm. You can now buy us a popcorn at buymeacoffee.com/blackcasediary. And thank you to all that support us, whether it be through listening, telling a friend, or donating.
Thank you.
Yay. Thank you so much.
Yes. And go check out There Are No Small Parts. We still have a new episode up that just went up about, what, like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it's
So
still there. We're not
it's
taking
still-
it down.
Yeah, please go listen to it. Listen to the first season too if you
Check it out.
haven't.
Yeah.
You can find that at blackcasediaries.com
Yay.
in our tabs. So
Or you can just, you can subscribe to it on any
or subscribe
platform
to
and
it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wherever you find podcasts, it's there.
There will be a new episode soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's once a
Yay.
month, so
Yes, very soon. They're fantastic. Go rate it
Yes.
5 stars on iTunes,
Yes.
please.
And if you want,
No less than 5.
yeah. And if you want, please rate Black Case Diaries as well.
we're one
We-
review away.
Yes,
Yeah.
from 50. So if you want to be our 50th reviewer,
Please.
would be pretty special.
Yeah.
So,
Special.
so special. All right.
All right.
Anyway.
See
See
ya.
ya.
Bye bye.
Ooh.